Good day, everyone. So, my name is May Ann E. Albania, and today we will be reporting about the Republic Act 8485, also known as the Animal Welfare Act of 1998. So, today I will be discussing to you the Section 1 and Section 2 only, and the rest will be discussed by my group mates. But before that, let us know first what is Republic Act 8485. It is an act to promote animal welfare in the Philippines, otherwise known as the Animal Welfare Act of 1998. It was approved on February 11, 1998, signed by our former President Fidel V. Ramos during his term. So, the purpose of Animal Welfare Act of 1998 is a very significant in the Philippines that aims to protect the welfare of animals. It prohibits the cruelty towards animals such as maltreatment, torture, killing, and neglect. The law also regulates the transport, the sale, and handling of animals to ensure their welfare. Violation of this law may face penalties. It includes fines and imprisonment. So now, let us discuss the section 1 of this article. Section 1 states that the purpose of this act is to protect and promote the welfare of all animals in the Philippines. Meaning, when we say all animals in the Philippines, it includes any kinds of animals. It includes carabao, goat, even a dog and a cat and a bird. For Section 2, states that a certificate of registration from the Bureau of Animal Industry must be secured before any establishment facility that involves animal operation. So from the word itself, no person, association, partnership or corporation shall be established without a certificate of registration from the Bureau of Animal Industry. So, for example, if you want to put your own veterinary clinic, you have first to secure from the Bureau of Animal Industry a certificate of registration from your business. The third one is the second one, the certificate shall be issued upon proof that the facilities of such establishment for animals are adequate, clean, and sanitary and will not be used for nor cause pain or suffering to the animals. So the Bureau of Animal Industry, they will check your before you can get your certificate of registration, they are going first to check your facilities if ever it is an adequate place for an animals to stay there, that they will not that it cannot cause harm to the animals. And if ever that they have checked your area and you can pass already, and then you can now get your certificate of registration. The third one is the certificate shall be valid for a period of 1 year unless earlier cancelled for just cause before the expiration, meaning that the Bureau may revoke or cancel such certificate of registration for failure to observe this condition, meaning if the Bureau seen that you are not giving adequate enough space or clean area or facility to your animals, they can cancel that contract even if that contract hasn't ended yet in a period of 1 year.
Good day, everyone. My name is Junaleses Pino Panes. I'm the reporter of Section 3 and 4. Section 3. The Director of the Bureau of Animal Industry shall supervise and regulate the establishments, operation, and maintenance of the facilities that uses or involves animals. Section 3 of the RA 1998 Animal Act Welfare states the duty of every person to ensure the welfare of animals under their case. This includes providing adequate food, water, shelter, and veterinary care, as well as preventing unnecessary suffering and providing suitable living conditions. The meaning of this statement is that the Director of the Bureau of Animal Industry (BAI) has authority to oversee and control the establishment, operations, and maintenance facilities that utilize or include animals. This indicates that the BI has the responsibility to monitor and regulate various establishments such as animals, testing laboratory, research facilities, zoos, farms, or any other places where animals are used or involved. The director may call upon any government agency for assistance consistent with its powers, duties, and responsibilities for the purpose of ensuring the effective and efficient implementation of this act and the rules and regulation promulgates thereunder. The purpose of the supervision regulation is to ensure these facilities adhere to certain standards and guidelines set by the BI living condition for the animals, ensuring their welfare, preventing cruelty or mistreatment, and enforcing proper handling of protocols. By having this authority, the directors of the BI can oversee the proper management and functioning of facilities that involve animals and the goal of the promoting animals welfare, maintaining ethical and responsible practices in various industries and activities that utilize animals. Section 4. They shall provide sufficient food and water while such as animals while in transit for for more than 12 hours or whenever necessary. Refers to the transportation of the animals and regulation and requirements involved in ensuring their well-being during transit. States that anyone transporting animals for a duration longer than 12 hours or whenever necessary must provide sufficient food and water for the animals. These requirements in this place to ensure the animals are not subjected prolonged periods without access to essential sustenance during transportation, which could cause them harm or discomfort. No public utilities shall transport any such as animal without a written permit from the director of the Bureau of Animal Industry or his here authorized representative. It states that no public utility such as transportation company or service is allowed to transport animals without a written permit from the director of the Bureau of Animal Industries. This means that transporters must seek permission from the BEI from before transporting animals to ensure that they meet the necessary standards and regulation for animal welfare during transit. Any form of cruelty shall be penalized even if the transporter has obtained a permit from the Bureau of Animal Industry. Emphasize that even if a transporter has obtained a permit from the BAI, any form of cruelty towards the animals being transported is still prohibited and subject to penalties. This means that the transporters must ensure that the animals are treated humanly during transportation, regardless of having permit. The importance of ensuring the well-being and humane treatment of animals during transportation. This regulation aims to protect animals from unnecessary harm or suffering while in transit, and to ensure that transporters comply with the necessary standards and regulations set by BAI. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Jeric M. Villanueva, and I'll discuss the Section 5. Section 5, there is hereby created a community of an animal welfare attached to the Department of Agriculture, which shall, subject to the approval of the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture, issue to the necessary rules and regulation for the strict implementation of the provision of this Act. Such guidelines shall be reviewed by the committee every 3 years from its implementation or whenever necessary. So the Section 5, they have the power to investigate and prosecute cases of animal mistreatment or cruelty, and those found guilty can face compound imprisonment or the penalties as they demand appropriate by the court. Section 5, the committee shall be composed of the official representative of the following. First is the Department of Interior and Local Government, or DILG. Second, Department of Education, Culture and Sport, or DECS. Third, Bureau of Animal Industry, or BI of the Department of Agriculture, or DA. Fourth, Protected Areas and Wildlife Bureau, or PAW of the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, or DENR. Fifth, National Meat Inspection Commission, or NMIC of the DA. Sixth, Agriculture Training Institute, or ATI of the DA. Seven, Philippine Veterinary Medical Association, or PVMA. 8. Veterinary Practitioners Association of the Philippines, or VPAP. 9. Philippine Animal Hospital Association of the Philippines, or PAHA, or PAHA. 10. Number 10. Philippine Animal Welfare Society, or PAWS. 11. Philippine Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, or PSPCA. Number 12. Philippine Society of Swine Practitioners, or PSSP. 13. Philippine College of Canine Practitioners, or PCCP. And the last, Philippine Society of Animal Science, or PSAS. So, after knowing this law, I'll give an example. If you ever seen an animal being maltreated, you are reporting it to the government of being Society of Swine Practitioners. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Ira Marie Enloquero, and I am tasked to discuss the Section 6 under the Republic Act 8485, otherwise known as the Animal Welfare Act of 1998. So, in Section 6, it stated that it shall be unlawful for any person to torture any animal, to neglect, to provide adequate care, sustenance, or shelter, or maltreat any animal, etc. So the killing of any animals other than cattle, pigs, goats, sheep, poultry, rabbits, carabaos, horses, deer, and crocodiles is likewise hereby declared unlawful except in the following instances. So first, when it is done as part of the religious rituals of an established religion or sect, or a ritual required by tribal or ethnic custom of indigenous cultural communities. Example of these are Hinduism, Muslim, Islam. The reason why they kill animals is for sacrificing it to their deities, to please their deities. And in Muslims, they traditionally slaughter animals such as sheep, goats, buffalo, cattle, and camels on a sacred day to commemorate the mercy of their Allah. However, leaders shall keep records in cooperation with the Committee on Animal Welfare. Second is when the pet animal is afflicted with an incurable communicable disease as determined and certified by a duly licensed veterinarian. So, for instance, the disease in pigs, which is the ASF, also known as the African swine fever, they reduce pigs with this disease in the process of culling. So, when the killing is deemed necessary to put an end to the misery suffered by the animal as determined and certified by a duly licensed veterinarian. So if it was advised by the licensed veterinarian to kill the animal like in the disease of pigs, the ISF, the veterinarian required and considered to kill the animal in order to put an end to the misery suffered by the animal and also to prevent the contamination or the spread of the said disease. So when it is done to prevent an imminent danger to the life of limb of a human being. So of course, we all know that crocodile is one of the dangerous animals or one of the dangerous wildlife in our environment. So they consider it as they required it to reduce this kind of wildlife. When done for the purpose of animal population control, so of course we our in our generation now, especially humans, also animals, we the population of our environment was little by increasingly, and we need to control, especially in the section of the animals, like especially wildlife also, they because they there is possible to harm people. So when the animal is killed after it has been used in authorized research or experiments, so sample dissecting rabbits, dissecting chickens or pigs, or any other animals used in experimenting, and to for the purpose of determining or identifying the body parts, so they consider it, and then any other ground analogous to the foregoing as determined and certified licensed veterinarian. So, in all the above mentioned cases, including those of cattle, pigs, goats, sheep, poultry, rabbits, carabaos, horses, deer, and crocodiles, the killing of the animals shall be done through humane procedures at all time. So for this purpose, humane procedures shall mean the use of the most scientific methods available as may be determined and approved by the committee. Only those procedures approved by the committee shall be used in killing of animals. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Joy Kayaban. I'll be reporting Section 7 and Section 8. The Section 7, it shall be the duty of every person to protect the natural habitat of the wildlife. The destruction of said habitat shall be considered as a form of cruelty to animals, and its preservation is a way of protecting the animals. And Section 7 stated that every person shall be duty to protect the natural habitat of the wildlife. However, it also stated that destruction to the natural habitat are considered as a form of cruelty to animals. So one of example in destruction to the natural habitat are the deforestation, which is affects animals in many ways. It causes habitat destruction, increased risk of predation, reduced food availability, and much more. So, here in Philippines, there are a lot of cases in deforestation. One of them are the cases in Sierra Madre. According to an analysis of satellite data, there was an increase in deforestation between 2016 and 2018, with losses in 2016 suddenly increasing 1,795 hectares for closed forests and 3,862 hectares for open forests. And in 2017 to 2018, the rate of deforestation increased even further. However, the Sierra Madre is protected by Republic Act number 9125, which was passed in 2001. So, let's proceed to the Section 8. Section 8. Any person who violates any of the provisions of this act shall, upon conviction by final judgment, be punished by imprisonment of not less than 6 months nor more than 2 years, or a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos or more than 5,000 pesos, or both, of the discretion of the court. If the violation is committed by a juridical person, the officer responsible therefore shall serve the imprisonment when imposed. If the violation is committed by an alien, he or she shall be immediately deported after service of sentence without any further proceedings. So, according to Section 8, anyone found in violation of this law faces a sentence of not less than 6 months or more than 2 years in prison, a fine of not less than 1,000 pesos or more than 5,000 pesos, or both, depending on the court's discretion. If a legal person breaks the law, they will be sentenced to prison, but if the crime was done by an immigrant, they will be deported immediately after serving their sentence. So, the Philippine Animal Welfare Society reports that there are over 100 incidents of animal cruelty reported in the country each year. many of which remain unpunished because there are no severe punishments for animal abuse, and the organization receives 40 calls about incidents of animal maltreatment on average each day. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Katrina Siobong. I will be discuss Section 9 and Section 10. All laws, act, decrees, executive orders, rules, and regulations inconsistent with the provision of this act and hereby replayed or modified accordingly. In another word, any existing legislation that contradicts or conflicts with the provision of the Animal Welfare Act will be changed for provoke to ensure consistency. This is common practice when the new laws are enacted to ensure that there is no conflicting legislation that the new laws takes precedency. Section 10. This act shall take effect 15 days after this publication in that list to newspaper or general circulation. The purpose of publishing the act is a newspaper is to ensure that the public informed to its existence that can familiarize themselves with its content. The 15 days period allows to individuals and organizations become aware of the act that make any necessary this provision before it becomes enforceable. In overall, animal welfare and protection laws plays a critical role in ensuring the human treatment of the animals in the Philippines. It is important to understand and comply with this law to prevent cruelty, abuse, and neglect toward animals. By staying informed, reporting cases of animal cruelty, and promoting responsible pet ownership and wildlife conservation, contribute to create more compassionate and caring society that values and protect the welfare of animals. Let, let's work together to promote awareness about animal welfare laws, advocate for strict enforcement, and foster a culture of kindness and respect towards animals in the Philippines.
So I will be discussing case analysis on hog traders in Negros Oriental against illegal transport. Introduction. So before that, this happened on May 14, 2021. The Bureau of Animal Industry in Negros Oriental has cautioned hog traders against the illegal transport of animals outside of the province using fake shipping and other documents, as they will be held legally accountable or risk permit revocation. We believe that it was against the RE 8485, but it is an illegal trading. So meaning that it is against the welfare of an animals to be transported with a fake documents. So, background information. In this case analysis, we've searched up an inspection that there were violations found, such as the absence of valid shipping permit and the presentation of a used and expired veterinary health certificate. So we conducted the possible solution. So improve inspection and checkpoints. So in the government, there should be im- implementations and stricter regulation and guidelines concerning animal welfare during the transportation, and make sure that all transportation companies comply to it. Then the recommendation. Through thorough analysis, we recommend our first proposed solution for the main issue. If you lack the necessary document of animal transport, it is recommended to obtain them before proceeding with any transportation. Contact with your local authorities or transport services for guidance on the proper documentation required for animal transport. It is important to ensure the safety and welfare of the animals during transportation and to comply with all legal requirements. So, before trading any animals, there should be a legal requirements on it to ensure that all animals was in its proper welfare. So the next one is I will be discussing the market research on pricing increase on in poultry production. Animal welfare is a multifaceted concept that can be grouped into four criteria: feeding, housing, health, and optimized emotional states. So the first one is that it can be concluded that the housing system as a non-genetic factor directly affects the welfare of the birds and can impact their behavior and a certain meat quality trait. So meaning that if you start a business in a poultry house, there should be a proper housing, because with that it can impact the quality of the meat. So once the meat has a good quality, it could increase the price of a certain product. So second one is feed costs account for about 70% of the overall cost of the poultry production. So the primary cost that the factors into raising bird is usually related to providing a balanced ration for poultry. So in providing food to a poultry, of course, it could also be one of the factors that the increase of prices in poultry happen. So the third one is the producers aim to reduce the amount of antibiotics in poultry feed and change production system to meet the driving consumer demands, and the price of production are also expected. So meaning the health of the poultry is also one of the reasons that there is an increase of prices in poultry production, because you have to provide antibiotics for their health. I guess that's all. Thank you.